Okay, let's get more on this now from Per Wimmer. He joins me from London. He's undergone, as I understand, astronaut training himself. And of course, he's a space advocate, very enthusiastic. Per, so all of a sudden, seems like an awful lot of countries are interested in going into space, and particularly the moon. If I remember correctly, India landed a module there last year. We saw Japan do it this year. Now we've got a private company sending a lander there. If a private company's doing it, that says to me there's some money to be made. What are they looking for?
Absolutely. I mean, the wider context we should see here with this mission, which, by the way, is historic. I mean, it is an enormous feat. Should they succeed, which we hope they will, landing successfully on the moon, it will be the first private mission to land on the moon. And it will also be the first time the Americans are back since the Apollo program. For the benefit of this program, I'm actually wearing an Apollo jacket here for the 50th anniversary to celebrate that connection, incidentally. But the context here is the wider use of private companies for space, including NASA giving out private contracts so that NASA can focus on what they would consider to be the more difficult research and development stuff and perhaps deeper space, and then outsourcing effectively and giving opportunities to private companies to be more involved in space. So in this particular instance, NASA gave out the contract for $77 million, allow Intuitive Machines eventually to carry out this historic mission.
We just heard an expert there talking about, water on the moon. But, what are they really looking for? Because there must be something tangible there, whether it's, developing some kind of base of operations, maybe some kind of minerals. I have no idea, but there must be something there they're particularly looking for.
Yeah, so this particular mission, IM-1, has four different things that they're really going to do. First and foremost, they're going to put equipment on the lunar surface that will allow for better navigation. So when we have further probes and eventually also hopefully astronauts coming up back to the moon, it'll be easier and better and more precise to measure the distance between the moon and any floating object outside the moon. So that navigation will be one thing. Secondly, there'll be a lot of lunar surface data that they'll be gathering, understanding the surface better, so it's easier to know what you're landing on. Thirdly, weather. It will also have capabilities to checking out the weather in and around the moon. So that will also be a part of it. And like we heard here, the South Pole is particularly interesting. Fourthly, regards to the water, because water is obviously a key part of life for human beings and for potential fuel from there. So that's why the attention is so much on the South Pole. But it is difficult to land on the South Pole, as we have seen with other missions. So it is very exciting, very difficult, but great to see that a private company now are carrying out this, and there will hopefully be more coming along those ways. I mean, we've seen Axiom putting a Turkish astronaut into space. We see Voyager Space, another great American company, looking to build an international space station potentially, whilst they're carrying out work currently on the International Space Station. So a lot more coming here our way.
Space travel is something that really captures, everyone's imagination. Everyone loves to see the pictures of the rockets blasting off and the idea of going to somewhere like the moon. People find it very exciting. But the moon hasn't been anywhere since Neil Armstrong first walked on it. Why did mankind lose interest, it seems, in it for so long?
Well, historically, I mean, the Apollo 11, which is the jacket I'm wearing here, obviously was a fantastic, amazing experience, and they captured the whole world that man on the moon suddenly was there. And Neil Armstrong uttered the famous phrase, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. But then as the missions went on, including Apollo 17, which was the last time that we went to the moon, people lost a little bit of interest. It became a little bit more day to day. But it seems like now there's a renewed interest in space. And some of that is fueled by all the private capital going into it, where we can see what we can do with all this private capital, exploration, learning more. So there's a bit of a new dawn of a new era here that we're seeing, and that captures the public interest, and not at least in Turkey, where we've seen the first Turkish astronaut into space. So that changes things. Capital changes a lot of things. You can do a lot with that. And on a personal note, I'm personally excited to go into space in a couple of years' time myself. That is exciting and carries a lot of inspirational capacity to youth out there, I think.
Well, best of luck for you for your journey. And before you go, just very, very quickly, do you think in our lifetime we'll see a base on the moon?
Yes, absolutely. We will see a base on the moon. It's technically feasible. It's just a matter of money, but the money is coming. So the answer is yes. We'll definitely have a moon base, and then we can go on from there. And hopefully, in our lifetime, we'll also see a mission to Mars with humans.
And Per, if you do go into space, please do come back and tell us all about it. I'd love to hear all about it. Per Wimmer's my guest. He's a budding astronaut and a space advocate. Thank you so much.